I've been wanting to do a video for a while about the transition for our sons from their California schools to their French schools. Because I love getting the kids on camera, because I figure that the primary reason I'm doing this is because I want to look back at them at some time in the future and see what the kids were like back in the day. Not such kids anymore, since the one I'm about to interview is 20 years old now. And also, I thought that it would be helpful to other people that is, who were considering a similar move. They came here to France with us when they were 11 and 14, just shy of turning 12 and 15. And we knew it was going to be a bit of a transition, particularly for the older one, that it could be kind of difficult for teenagers to be just uprooted and put into a strange new place, not even knowing the language. Neither one of them had any French before we came here, because we didn't, hadn't selected France as the country. I had been looking at several countries, and my primary strategy to get to Europe was to get a job in either the UN or American military base or NATO. But that didn't happen, and we decided to make the move anyway. So then we selected France, and anyway, I don't want to get too into the weeds, but thought you'd be interested in hearing the perspective of our older kid. We're really proud of him. It was a very tough transition, tough change for him, and he fought his way through, and he found his inner strength, and he did it. So without further ado, let's begin that interview. Okay. Who are you? What's your name?
My name's Ernest. I'm 20 years old, birthday in September, and yeah, I just finished high school.
And where were you born?
I was born in the United States, in San Diego.
And you lived there for how long?
Until I was about 14 years old.
Okay. And what was the last grade that you were going to school in San Diego? Were you in high school or in
I believe it was my last year of middle school.
Okay. And when did you hear that we were going to move to France?
Pretty abruptly. It was talked about more like we're thinking about it. Like it wasn't concrete until the last moment for me.
For you, it was the last moment. Okay.
Yes.
And what did you think when you found out?
I was pretty distraught because I had a lot of friends in the United States of America, and I was really happy where I was. I loved it.
Did you have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And all right, so you arrived here, and you were 14 years old, just about to turn 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
A couple months shy. And where did you go to school here?
I went to a school, public school, here in France, Grenoble.
The public school, you sure?
Yes, my first year.
What was the name of it? The school that you went to?
Cutting it out, like bleeping it?
No, remember, it's a defunct school now, so you're allowed to say, because it doesn't exist anymore.
Also, they can still find you, but...
Doesn't matter, there's nobody to find you, it doesn't exist.
You should ask him about what he means. American School Grenoble.
Right.
ASG.
Did you know that was actually a private school?
No, I was thinking of another school.
Okay.
That does exist.
Yeah, so you the first year you went to a private school called American School of Grenoble, right?
Yes.
And what was their curriculum?
It's literally the same as the American curriculum.
Uh-huh.
We had a French class, but I didn't really learn anything there.
And just a little backdrop or context, what was the big thing that was going... This was what, 2020?
Don't remember.
Okay, yeah. Well, it was 2020. And what was the big deal that was going on?
COVID, yeah.
Yeah. And your cousins, right? They closed the schools in California, didn't they?
Yeah.
But did your school kept going?
Yeah, the schools in France never really stopped, if I recall. There was a curfew, and there was a bunch of like the rule of the masks and everything, but they never closed the schools. They kept it up.
Okay. And by the way, I got you a glass of water if you want to.
Thank you.
Any water. And anyway, so did they teach any French in that school?
Yeah, they did. We had one French class. It was all the rest of the classes and subjects were in English. Honestly, I didn't learn much in the French class, mostly because I didn't really even pay attention. But yeah.
Well, do you mind my asking if you were a good student in San Diego?
No, I wasn't. All I did was drawing class.
Okay. So, all right. So then, after your first year, we switched you, right?
Yes.
And what was that?
What do you mean? What was that?
Or I mean, why was that?
Oh, why was it? Because I wasn't progressing in French.
Yeah. It wasn't your fault. School wasn't really teaching it.
Or
Okay. So,
it was kind of my fault. I wasn't
well,
paying attention at all.
Okay. And anyway, so then what happened? Did we switch you to another school?
Yes.
And
Switched me
without
to
naming the name of that school, what was that school?
It was a French public school,
Yeah.
pure French. And I dropped straight into the French curriculum. All classes and everything was in French.
Okay. And then they had a special program that you were in, right? For immigrant kids?
Yeah, they did. And that's how I got the basics of French down.
Okay. And so you kind of had a 1-year lag, right?
Yeah, that year, honestly, I was actually a lot of my French classes to study basic French for immigrants was overlapped. Like I was taken out of my normal classes, which I would be, to be in those classes. So that year was kind of just like an integration year. So obviously once I was done with those French classes the first year, then I was actually did the same curriculum again, except I was all in all of the classes and I didn't have that French
And
catch-up class or whatever.
And we've talked about this. The reason that we switched you was you weren't learning. You weren't being immersed in French at all. So you were kind of in a lag, and right. So, and that was kind of an inner city school, a little bit tough.
And it was mostly made for people who plan on going back to the USA. Yes.
I mean, the American school was, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, big mistake on your parents' part, because that was not our situation. So, anyway, so you went to this public school, the French public school, for how long?
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
And then we held you back a year there too, didn't we? Because of the language barrier.
That was the integration year, and then I'd actually the year after.
Yeah.
That's what it was
Okay.
for.
So the integration year didn't really count as a year towards your.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't even in all of the
So
classes.
you were there for 2 years. Did you like how long? How long? What? You know, French school. The school day is much longer, right?
Yeah, a lot longer.
Till when?
So every day it's 8 a.m. and until 5 or 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesdays you can finish at noon.
Okay.
So that's the short day, like it is in the USA Tuesdays.
And how lunch breaks during the school day are what usually?
It can be normally they start at 12 and they end at 1. So they can start anytime from 11 until 1 p.m. There's like no wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Or 2 p.m.
the classes kind of run a little bit more like a university, right? I mean, you may have a break between classes, and I recall you sort of coming home a lot.
We have a 10-minute break at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.
But the classes aren't always contiguous, right? Don't they sometimes not have you kind of have a hole in your schedule, or?
The only holes are the 10-minute breaks in between. 10-minute breaks at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Because it seemed like to me sometimes you would come home and then go back to school.
That's when I actually just didn't have a class during that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Most schools don't do that. Like when I went to lycée, No, not lycée. When I went to the other school
Yeah.
after that, I didn't have any 1 hour gaps
Okay.
unless the
And-
teacher was absent.
Yeah. So explain to the viewers what lycée means.
Lycée is a high school in French.
Okay. And then
Literally.
middle school is called what?
Collège.
Okay. And the grades, like in the U.S., it's 1 through 12, but in France, it's what?
I don't know, but I know it ends at terminal, which is right after
Yeah.
première.
Premier is the number 1, right?
Yeah.
So it's like reverse numbered from
It's
what we have.
reverse, yeah. Because
Okay.
because I started at like troisième, I don't really know everything below that yet.
So you were at this public school for 2 years, right? And then were you doing any sports?
While I was at Emmanuel Mounier, I think so. I was in quite a lot of sports.
Uh-huh.
I started with taekwondo, and then once I was done with that, I was getting into calisthenics, just going to the workout park on my own. And then after that, then I actually started like going into like a bunch of serious sports at the same time. So at first I started with track, then I was in boxing, and then I believe on top of those two, I was going to train at the gym every day.
Okay. But you put in quite a lot of time into track. That was a serious sport for you.
Yeah.
And you would get out of class, what, at like 6? And then,
Just straight to track.
and it was like dark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was cold. Because we're
Yeah, it
at
was
the
cold.
49th parallel up here.
I like the cold when I'm
Yeah.
doing track. 'Cause
Or longitude.
the heat is not fun.
Latitude. We're 45 latitude. Okay. You like that. Okay. Okay, so there are 2 years, and then we did what? We switched you again, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was to a private Catholic school, right?
Yes.
And by the way, for the viewer here, you know, private Catholic school in the U.S. is going to cost you about 15 grand at least in tuition. Here, literally 1/10 of that. They're subsidized by the state, but they, you know, look every bit like the private Catholic schools in the U.S. Very kind of old traditional building. Anyway, so by the way, did you like your teachers at the public school?
There's nothing really wrong with the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They just did their job. I didn't really have any. No.
Because, like our impression as a
Honestly, one of the teachers I had at the private school, like I've had more negative experience with the teachers at the private school than I did the public school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just one particular teacher, which everybody kind of had a problem. She was a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Well, there's always one, at least. What was I going to say? So, our impression as parents, we had several meetings with the teachers throughout the year, and our impression was they were very supportive and very concerned.
Yeah, they
So we
were
liked
at the most recent school. Yes.
Also
It's a
at
great
the
school.
prior school. In fact, your homeroom teacher just loved you. He thought you were a star. Anyway, so switch over to that private school. Did you like it better or not?
Yeah, a lot better,
Yeah.
significantly.
And by the way, do these schools have any programs for kids? Like if you're need a little bit more time on tests because I don't know, you got ADD or dyslexia or something. Do they have something that you can do in that regard?
Yeah, they do. I'm not 100% sure on how it works, but you can go up to principal, take it up with the the higher ups in the school. If you have some kind of registered document, as proof of this difficulty you have, whether it's ADHD or dyslexia or something like that, you can get an extra hour on exams.
Okay.
And they'll let you have access to whatever other tool maybe that you need, like a laptop or
Do you know anybody that did
dictionary.
that?
Huh?
Do you know anybody that
Yes, I know a person with dyslexia who was able to use a laptop for everything. in his
Okay,
class.
let's pause here for a second. All right, we just went off camera for a moment. Just wanted to see if I could ask this question. So did you also benefit from,
Yeah, so I always had trouble paying attention in class and stuff like that. So, and I obviously needed the extra time in class more than anybody else with my language difficulty.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we went out of our way to try to test and see if our suspicions were right, like on ADHD. We believe mom had ADHD, and then I did too, but it wasn't really worth going out and confirming until like now. So we went and did that. We got it confirmed that I got ADHD, so I was able to get an extra hour on exams. And I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but I was also able to use a dictionary.
That probably
Translating
probably the
dictionary.
language thing.
Yeah.
So that was we didn't do that until like your last year, I think, right?
Yeah, that was my last year.
We probably should have done that much earlier.
At the public school, the teachers were nice enough. They just let me, because I didn't know any French back then.
Right.
So they let me just have my phone.
Big mistake I should have mentioned right at the beginning. I asked, did you know any French when you arrived here?
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Not at all. I didn't even know bonjour. I'm not going to lie to you.
And okay. So you went to the public school for 2 years, and then you went to the private school for also 2 years? The Premier
Yes.
and Terminal?
Yes.
Okay. So 11th and 12th grade by U.S. Grading system, or grade system. So during this time, did you become a more serious student?
Yeah, I don't know when it really clicked, but I guess it clicked at like maybe not even. No. Yeah, I guess my second year of the public school.
Yeah.
Which is my third year here, basically.
Yeah, because I remember you're very studious by the time you were in 11th grade Premier.
Honestly, it was just out of fear of like where.
Yeah, well, that's how all good students. That's how they all were. The thing is that fear didn't exist in you in prior years. So that's when I knew you were getting serious, and you knew the importance of this is when you started to have the fear of exams. So that don't think that was an exception to the rule. That's how every grade student I knew, including your mom, was like that. So all right. So then why don't you talk a little bit about the BAC? I mean, the U.S. God, it's been so long. I don't even remember taking. I remember taking the SATs. I don't remember taking a particular exam to get my high school diploma. If you do, that's how little importance it had in my memory that I wouldn't even remember it, but I did remember the SATs. So tell us about the BAC in comparison to like what American high school students go through.
All I want to really say is that it's really, really difficult, even for the French people. And it's an exam that literally takes 2 years.
You got your hands.
Takes 2 years to complete. So, like, there's a French exam, which what do they test you on? It's kind of hard to remember. They test me on different authors that no. It's hard. It's very hard for me to remember.
Well, why don't you talk a little bit more about the structure of the exam? Like, is it written? Is it oral? How long is it? How many?
Oh yeah,
you said it's in both.
The length of the exams, pretty sure it's like, if I remember correctly, it's like 4 hours per exam. Mm-hmm. Except for the oral. For the French, for example, the first year. At the end of the year, you'll have. So these are the last 2 years of high school. So you got the second to last year, which is the French exams. So you'll have the written, the oral. Yeah, the written and the oral.
Okay.
And so on the oral, you have to remember by heart a bunch of different texts, extracts of texts that are like ancient French. So you gotta learn, and you have to like have studied them. You study them all throughout the year, and it's you do you know what a commentary is, right? You need to know what the figures of style are. What are those? And what is that in English? Figures of speech. All the different figures of speech. You basically just kind of like dissect each text, and you got to know that by heart. And then they randomly pick one of the texts on exam day, and you have to orally present that in front of them.
And when you say in front of them, who are you presenting to?
The examinators.
Who are the examiners? It's like how many are there? Is there one?
I don't know. They come from I don't know where, but they're not our teachers.
All right, so they're not your teachers. They're like judges, and there's like 3 of them, 2 of them, 1 of them that sits at a.
There was one during my oral for the French exam.
And he sits at the front of the class, I take it?
No, it's just me and him in that classroom.
Okay.
And there might be one student in the class at the same time who's like, you have 10 minutes of prep time where you don't get anything other than, anything other than them giving you the randomized text, right?
Yeah.
And a blank piece of paper for you to write down anything.
Okay.
On that text, there's not gonna have dates or the name of the authors usually or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think some actually might, but it depends on the text. But you got to know by heart. Oh, this one was written in blah blah blah. Maybe some history on the author themselves, meaning. Sometimes it's a poem, etc. You know.
So, are you just making a presentation to the?
And it has to last 10 minutes, I think.
Does he ask questions during the presentation?
No. I feel
you just sit there quietly, kind of marking the paper.
It's structured. Yeah. He just sits there, marks the paper as he watches you. I'm pretty sure you have to read the text out loud. Then you also have to dissect it, the meanings, etc. And then I think there's a couple of minutes where they actually ask questions about it, including questions about a different book that you read at the end of the year.
So it's
complicated. Right?
So is that the first?
That's oral.
That's the oral in the first year?
Yeah, and then there's I don't know how deep you want to get into
this.
Not
too deep, just kind of give people kind of a feel for what the overall structure is. So
it's pretty
So then there's a written part that's 4 hours, you said?
Yeah, that exam is 4 hours long, and you have to write basically a text, commentaire. It can be a commentary on whatever text they give you, or I forgot what the other thing is. But there's like 2 different things you could choose. But the text is going to be like, it could be up to it could be as long as you want.
Yeah.
But typically they should usually be at least 3 pages long.
Okay. And that you get about 4 hours on that, you said?
4 hours.
And did you get an extra? Was that the extra hour that you got part of that 4 hours, or did you get added on to that 4 hours?
Got added on to those 4 hours. So it was a 5-hour exam.
And did you need it? Or did you take the 5 hours?
Yeah, I definitely need it, 100%. I barely finished it.
Okay. So that was the first year of the bac, as they call it, baccalaureate.
And the second year is on all these other subjects that you studied throughout the year.
Same thing, oral and written?
So I think it's different whether you're in général or technologie.
Okay, you're in general.
But I was in...
No, you were technology.
I was in technologique. So basically like a 4-hour exam where there's like a science part and a biology part. That's one of the exams. And there's another exam, I think it's like 2 hours long, and it's a math exam. And then...
And these are the written exams?
Yeah, most of them are written. And then my specialty, when I'm in technology, my specialty was health.
Okay.
Études, santé, technologique, sociale.
So these are how many written exams?
1, 2, 3, maybe 4.
In the first year it was just 1, right?
Yes.
So like 3 or 4 written exams.
Yeah.
Each one taking 4 to 5 hours?
No, each one of them takes 4 hours. I think the other 2 might take just 2 hours.
Okay. And then an oral presentation?
And then that's what I was about to say. The other one, based on your actual like specialty, in high school, would be There's written exam on that, and then an oral presentation on that one subject.
And the oral also 10 minutes like the first time?
Yeah,
or?
I know for a fact that was 10 minutes because that's the most recent thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and how'd you do?
I did great. They do not recommend this, and I don't recommend this, but I memorized my oral presentation 10 minutes long by heart. I memorized that by heart. Oh, and they don't even let you... They can choose, they randomize. You have 2 subjects to choose from, and they're only going to pick one of those.
Yeah.
So I had to memorize 2 10-minute long oral presentations by heart.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they're going to interview you questions on the actual subject after the... So you actually have to know what you're talking about.
So proud of you and relieved.
Because I'm not going to lie, with my French level, it was just like... I don't think I would have done worse if I didn't memorize it, right? Yeah. Everybody says don't memorize it. That's stupid, right? But on that, I felt like that was the best choice in my scenario, right? And I got a good grade on it. That's the crazy part. They literally asked me, "Did you memorize this by heart?" My heart stopped for a second, but I kept my poker face. I said no. I was really alive when I was repeating it, right? Yeah. So I kind of sounded like. And at times I had to recall stuff, so sometimes it was or like it was kind of
going. Oh, is that the dog trying to get in? Yeah. Anyway, so and all through this experience, teachers were kind of saying they didn't expect you to pass. That it was too big a thing. That we should send you to the trade school, which is what they call professional here, strangely enough. But I
had several teachers say that this year isn't the year. You're not gonna pass. We're probably gonna. But they weren't saying it in like we don't believe in you kind of. It wasn't in a negative way, but they were just honestly stating what they believe, and it's what I believed as well. Yeah. And that you should use this year wisely in preparation for the next year. You know what I mean? But no, I did it.
Yeah, amazing. So what this year you're taking a gap year?
Yes.
What are you going to do with your gap year?
So this year is basically where my focus on actually advancing my French level is going to be and planning out on how my career is going to go. And that's to become a firefighter.
What would do you talk to any of your old friends back in San Diego, back in California, and compare what their school situation is to what yours was?
I do talk with one... Yeah, just one friend from America still. And I did talk with them a lot about school at first, but like I haven't talked to them like compared schools in like maybe like a year or 2.
Do you have an opinion of what like French school is versus American school, especially at the high school stage?
I feel like I was gonna say, obviously, it's just objectively there are more hours in school. If you're going to go to France. But I was going to say you have more hours but less workload. That's debatable, and I think that depends on the school you go to. Because Lynn, his workload is way more than I had.
Yeah. Let me pause here for a sec because I'm going to lock the dog in. All right, so wait, what were you talking about? We were just talking about the comparison... Oh yeah, and you said Lynn, your younger brother, has more work than you do.
He has way more workload, even when he was 3 years below me in class. He still had more workload.
He goes to a crazy hard school, and we're going to have a conversation with him where he can talk about that. But your school was very highly rated.
Yeah,
the
and
Catholic
honestly,
school was.
A lot of the homework kind of was optional. At least I feel like me going to a private school had some kind of influence on that.
Yeah.
My workload being smaller than most.
Interesting. So you think it might actually be easier than the U.S.?
No. I mean, it depends on what you consider easier because you're going to be at the school for more hours.
Yeah.
And which means you're working during those more hours, right? So, but when you get home, if you want to do extracurricular activities in France, I mean... You can't sleep at 9 p.m. It's just impossible.
Yeah. Expect to be going in the dark and coming home in the dark.
Everybody's going to need study time. Yeah. So if you want extracurricular activities, you're an athlete or something, and you got to study, and go to school. I mean, it's just like that's all you're gonna have time for.
In fact,
You might not even have time for that.
In fact, there are some high schools which are made specially for athletes.
Yeah, so they have that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't.
Yeah. So, bottom line is, you think would get a better education here or in the U.S.?
Better education here, obviously.
Yeah,
But,
that's our impression. Our impression was
it's more quality. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
lot more quality. They're more strict, and the way they teach you, I feel is just more effective here.
yeah. Okay.
And I also think the classrooms are always smaller, So like they have less students to deal with, meaning they can focus more on each individual student.
Was that true even at the public school?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We still had some certain classes where it's split into two groups, right?
Yeah.
But there were certain classes where the two groups were together.
Mm-hmm.
But a large portion of those classes were in two half groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those groups were pretty small.
How many students would you say?
So if you had like a total of, let's say, 30 students, like 15 per group.
Okay.
But I don't feel like it had to be less.
Yeah.
Maybe we had like 25 students total.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like they chose specifically the subjects in which the smaller groups would be on.
What would you say to a parent considering a parent with a teenage child considering a move to France from the U.S.? Would you tell them do it, don't do it? What would you recommend in helping that parent prepare? And I'm going to ask you the same thing what you would recommend to the teenager.
That's really, really hard to answer. Yeah. I mean, by no means is it easy at all. And I do feel like it's easier for some than it is for others. Me personally, I mean, I feel like it's just objectively true that I suck at learning a new language. I'm particularly more slow at learning the language than other people because I've seen others when I was at my first public school here progress way faster than me and this particular other student who was even slower than me. And yeah, I mean, just not knowing the language, not being able to have anybody to communicate with, and then on top of that, like the work, it's horrible.
Well, I think wasn't part of the problem too that we're all speaking English at home, so you weren't you didn't really have any immersion.
You know, I know, but like, what are you going to do about that, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know that it's. I'm not saying you'd be a superstar in language or not, but I'm just saying I think that you had some disadvantages.
Yeah.
Not to mention that first year was, I mean, from a parent, my advice would be don't avoid the transition, which is what we did. We wanted to have you have a soft landing, whereas Lynn, we just plunked him in because he was younger. But you, knowing you were older and a teenager.
Lynn's a particular case because he went to international school.
Yeah.
So everybody, he even stated this himself. Everybody, all of his friends spoke English. All of them.
Yeah, so I mean, he did have a soft landing after all.
But they also communicated in French.
We wanted to make you have even a softer landing because you were older.
Because I was older and I was already like.
Yeah, and that was a mistake on our part because
maybe.
This and we should have just listened to what the website for the school said, which was, look, this is for people, for students who are planning to go back to the U.S. is a certain thing.
I mean, if you're asking me, I feel like the benefits outweigh the downsides, but there's a little ton of downsides for the kids in particular.
Yeah,
I think most definitely because I mean. If you can bear with it, you're good. You get all the pros. I mean, and you dealt with the cons. But like, if you can't bear with the cons, I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, but that's an honest assessment. Then, to quote Nietzsche, "That which does not kill you makes you stronger." Right?
Yeah. Right. But what if it kills you? That's all I'm saying.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
Exactly what he said, bro.
Right. Okay. You got any final words?
Yeah, no, yeah.
What are you doing now? What's your
this,
favorite activities now?
Bodybuilding, like lifting weights, and Jack gets drawing, the arts a little bit. That's pretty much it.
And how's the language coming?
I mean, I feel like all throughout, ever since I've been here, it's been slow, but it clicked at a certain point, right?
One. And we're being annoyed by the dog because he just wants attention. He doesn't like to be left out. He's annoying me. Ernie's okay. All right. So where we left off, you said what you're doing now is bodybuilding and drawing. And then I think my final question was, did you have any final thoughts for... Well, I guess before I get to that, so right now you interviewed with the fire department and they said what? Like, well, you took a test, right? You took a test.
Yeah, I passed all the exams. They love my CV. They were happy. I mean, I passed everything, right? But during the interview, they thought my French could be a liability, right? And they gave me 6 months to improve upon that and then come back and see what we do.
And then we put you in an intensive French class too, right? Of course, after.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me that. Repeat that in French. I'm putting you on the spot.
Ils m'ont donné 6 mois après mon entretien pour améliorer mon niveau de français. Et oui, c'est ce qu'on fait là.
Sounds great to me. Score an A on my. Any final thoughts? Like, what would you? Any recommendations for a teenager coming over here?
I mean, if you really can, I wouldn't even know where to start personally, but try to start the language earlier and take that seriously. And try to do all your recreation, social media, whatever, the videos you watch, YouTube. If you can find out a way, it's not easy, but you need to do just have all that be in French, because that's how you improve. Just doing recreational stuff in French.
Yeah, in fact,
that's what everybody tells me.
And people I think we've learned that French is really actually one of the hardest languages to learn.
Yeah, you gotta learn so many conjugations, it's stupid.
Yeah, but also it's very hard to understand because it's very very clipped. Like the words are shortened and contracted.
I've never learned another language other than French, so I don't know.
Yeah, and then so definitely, and then a lot of students have told that a lot of French people who speak English pretty well, young people, you ask them how they learned, and what do they say?
Well, they actually tell me just watching English stuff,
Yeah,
English
exactly.
Content. Like I said, consume French content, they consume English content. They play games in English, they watch English films, etc. I mean, America kind of runs the entertainment industry when it comes to movies and stuff like that, so it's really easy to find English stuff, I mean, in France they got plenty of it too, right? You just got to be able to go outside of your comfort bubble with the stuff you usually watch and try to look at something new,
Yeah
that's really what it is.
All right, well, you're back to California for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Leaving tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Safe trips, safe travels.
Thank you.
And have fun. Say hi to your grandparents for me.
Will do.
All right, thanks. Turn this one off. And then we turn this one off.